Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady and principal owner of Everett Tax Solutions, where we help you win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, and when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. So, what hit the streets yesterday? So, Omi and the Hellcat has been indicted on several charges. Omi and the Hellcat, his name is Bill Omar Carrasquillo, I hope I pronounced that correctly, has been indicted on copyright infringement, wire fraud, making false statements, and tax evasion. So let's talk about it. So he came to my attention back in November 2019 when I first shot this video about the FBI's raiding his home. A subscriber brought this video to my attention and said, hey, he's talking about tax stuff in here. Would you take a look and talk about this video? Sure. Still had no clue who he was. Well, who knew that was going to create a firestorm and a serious hornet's nest on my YouTube channel, okay? Some of the comments were so vile that I had to delete them. It was bananas. I got called all kinds of names and it was just bananas. But yet here we are. All right. So I'm going to talk about what this stuff is, what has really happened, and just really correct some of the statements, because what happens is that when you have someone who has built up a huge influencer brand or personality, when they say things, people tend to think that because they said it, it's right. And that's not true. So that's what I've been doing with these videos. And that's what I'm going to do with this one, because, he's made some subsequent videos about this whole thing, and still wrong information in there. So we're going to talk about it. All right. So on the first thing is the copyright infringement. First of all, I am not an attorney. This is not financial advice. I am not your tax professional. You can hire me, but currently, if you're not my client, then this does not count as tax advice, financial advice, legal advice, none of those kinds of advices, okay? Now, so for copyright infringement. So copyright infringement is what we also know is piracy. Back in the day when people used to sit in the movie theater and shoot the bootleg videos, who among us did not have a bootleg video back in the day, right? People all up walking across the stage and all that stuff. Okay. But anyway, so copyright infringement or piracy is the use or production of copyrighted material without the express permission of the person who owns the copyright. Okay. That's what copyright infringement was. Now, what he did, he had this service, this streaming service. He had Gears, Reloaded, and Streams Are Us, I think is the name of the other company that had the streaming services. And so what he would do is he would purchase subscriptions to whatever company, like Comcast or Verizon, and who else is in here? Charter, Frontier, DirecTV, all of these cable providing companies. He would buy subscriptions to them, and then he had some kind of device that he purchased, and what it did is it stripped the encryption that allowed him to broadcast this to other people, and he charged them a fee. So while you're paying, $100 and something a month for your cable, he was broadcasting you shows for like $35 a month or something, right, to his subscribers. And so, but these companies, though, the Verizon's, Charters, they pay to be able to broadcast these shows to us. Okay. So we pay the cable company pays the copyright owners, whoever owns these movies and TV shows, to be able to broadcast those shows on their channels. Okay. Now, so what he did was he paid for his subscription to those channels and then got this device and then just, shared it with everybody for a fee. Okay. So that was the copyright infringement. All right. The next one is wire fraud. So wire fraud is financial fraud involving telecommunications or information technology. So if you fraudulently get money on the internet, like, participating in copyright infringement and then charging people a fee where they're sending you money over the internet, that's wire fraud. Okay. So any money that you get on the internet for, through illegal means or doing anything illegal, wire fraud, okay? And then he also mentioned money laundering, which that I didn't see that in the indictment, but he mentioned it on one of his videos. And so with money laundering, if you take money that you got in a criminal enterprise and then put it into a legitimate business, then that's money laundering. I was thinking about the accountant where he would take money from the mafia, run it through all of these little cash heavy businesses. He had the laundromat and the Chinese restaurant or something. And so those were legitimate businesses. So he was taking criminal money, putting it into legitimate businesses. Therefore, the money is laundered and cleaned, right? Okay. So, and then the tax evasion part. Of course, that part is my favorite. Now, one of the things that struck me about this is that this was an IRS case that turned into a criminal case, when usually it's the other way around. It's usually a criminal's getting in trouble, and then, oh, by the way, we're going to bring the IRS in on this investigation. But this time, it was the other way around. And so the IRS was investigating him because he had not filed taxes. Okay, he had not filed 2016 through 2019 taxes, but yet he was making all of this money. Now, in his original video, he was saying, hey, you got to give me time. I got 3 years to file my taxes. That is not true. It is a very common misconception. You have 3 years to claim a refund. You are supposed to file your taxes timely every year. Okay, so no, you don't have 3 years to file your taxes. You're supposed to file your taxes every year. You have 3 years to claim a refund. So here he is, has not filed these taxes. Okay, has not filed, therefore he has not paid. So there's not like he had paid some estimated tax payments and all of that stuff. No. And so the IRS starts investigating. And, the part that people don't understand is that the IRS uses social media. They catch people with their social media all the time. So you have this person who's made a boatload of cash, hasn't filed taxes, hasn't paid taxes. But you got all of these videos with all of these expensive homes. You've got all of these expensive cars. You're flashing all of this expensive jewelry. So it's evident that you are buying stuff, but you're not paying taxes. Because then the question is, okay, so where's all the stuff coming from? The money is coming from somewhere, right? So that's how this stuff really starts. And it's funny because when I did my previous video, somebody told me, well, you're shooting this video, you led the feds right to him. No, his own social media led the feds to him. Okay, because we have the tendency when somebody that we like, because he seems to be very well liked in the Philadelphia area. Okay, I can tell by the people who were very hateful to me in my comments, right? But the fact is that what he said, what he did was wrong. Okay, and in one of his one of his follow-up videos, he talked about how the feds told him that he had earned this money illegally and he shouldn't have had it. And his response was, and I'm paraphrasing, well, if it's money I'm not supposed to have, then how can I owe taxes on it? Now, those were the famous last words of Al Capone. Okay, because Al Capone is a famous gangster. They could not get him on all the other stuff that he did, but he went to jail on tax evasion. Okay, because the tax code states that income from illegal activities such as money from dealing drugs or other criminal activity must be included in your income form 1040 line 21 or Schedule C on your 1040 if from self-employment activities. So if you are running a criminal enterprise and you're making your money, yes, you are supposed to be claiming that income and paying your taxes. That's just the law. Okay? So let's see, what else is in this? I want to make sure I cover everything. So, one of the questions that somebody asked, said to me, like, somebody needs to go help him. It's too late for that, right? Because this case has been building for a few years. Now, one of the things that the government doesn't move lightning fast, right? Because they've got to build this case. And so once they gathered all of the information that they needed, they're not going to bring a case unless they're pretty certain that they're going to win. Okay, so he's the only thing that can help him right now is a very good attorney. There's no helping him on this tax thing because he willfully did not file his taxes. I was watching, he's made several videos about this. So if you want to know, he's got a YouTube channel. Y'all can go watch the videos yourself. But, he talked about how he was dealing with someone who lied about their credentials, that they said they were a CPA and they really weren't a CPA. I don't know what to tell you about that. Then he said he was referred to another company to get his tax prepared, and then they lied to him too. Now, what sticks out to me is that he's just surrounded by all of these liars, that people are just lying to him repeatedly about what needs to happen with, these taxes and how his business is conducted. The thing that, there's a lot of things. I keep saying there's a lot of things. He also mentioned how he consulted with an attorney in this whole deal, and the attorney told him that he was operating in this gray area. Listen, if there's only one person who is telling you that what you're doing is okay, and everybody else on the planet is telling you that, hey, this is wrong, you really might want to pause and get a second or third opinion, okay? Because this is the same thing that happened with Wesley Snipes. Here is this, it's actually two CPAs working together with Wesley Snipes and said, hey, we know about this, special code in the law that you won't have to pay taxes on all your earnings. So nobody else on the planet knows about that special little loophole. And in his case, nobody else on the planet knew about this gray area. So that made it okay. No. He talks about how he got 2 or 3 cease and desist letters from a company in the UK. Okay. If they sent you this cease and desist and it took 2 or 3 times, what you think was going to happen in the US? And one of his complaints was that in the US, none of these companies reached out to him and told him to stop. Well, if it was wrong, it was he still broke the law. So, the thing that you have to realize here is that there can be a lot of confusion about how things are supposed to operate. And unless you are an attorney and you study the law, or you're a tax professional and you study tax law, a lot of this stuff that's spewed out here, it sounds like it can be true. It sounds like it should be true, but it's not exactly how these things work. And this is how people get into trouble. So at this point, I know he's going to be going to trial. There were other people that were indicted with him. Michael Baroni of New York and Jesse Gonzalez of California. And I do believe I saw where they pleaded guilty earlier in the year. But, as far as what can be done to help him, I really don't even know the answer to that question. But I would say to everybody else, learn the lesson. Okay, learn the lesson about filing your taxes on time. Learn the lesson about paying. And if you can't pay, then you can get someone to help you. Get an enrolled agent, a CPA or a tax attorney to help you deal with the IRS. If you're not sure if they're credentialed, look them up. Okay, because we get it. There are a lot of scammers out here in this world. But at the end of the day, you alone are responsible for what's in your tax return, what's happening in your business, all of those things. Okay, you alone are responsible. You are responsible for making sure your taxes get filed on time. If you're dealing with somebody that can't get them done on time, file an extension, get somebody else. Okay, but don't just do nothing and think you're going to get all of this time, because what happens then is you force the IRS to enforce the law. And that's the only thing that the IRS does, is they are an enforcer. Congress writes the laws. The IRS is essentially the money police. All right. So I hope that gives you something to chew on. I really hope you're learning the lessons behind all of this. That is why we come on here and make these videos, so that you can learn the lessons. All right. And avoid that kind of headache. Make sure you're dealing with reputable people. I mean, it's just that simple. Right? And make sure that you're also not surrounded with people that you can, if you give them enough money, that they will agree with whatever you want them to do. That is not how the law works. That's not how taxes work. Because, you know, we already know we got shady tax people too, right? All right. So I beat that horse enough. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning into Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, and you can come right here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right. Have a great day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.